So how long is it going to take, you think, to shake off just kind of that 16 and I know you want to turn the page as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
How do you forget this season quickly?
I think we were all real disappointed on the bus ride home yesterday and kind of after the game, and it's tough. And I think you're probably going to hear about it, until you start winning some games. So it's going to be around for sure. But as a personal player, you think about it for a couple days. You kind of look back on the season when you meet with the coaches and determine what can you do better as a player for next year. And for me, I'm going to take a couple weeks off and get my body back, from playing in 16 games and stuff. But after that, you kind of move on. You say, what can I do to help this team get better for next year? And so it's a process, and it's going to take a little bit. But as a team, we have to turn the page. We can't let it hold us back for the future.
How challenging was this year physically for you? Because this is the first time in a while. I mean, it was probably good to play all 16, but this is also the first time.
Yeah, I didn't get as much training camp as I wanted because I kind of got banged up in training camp as well. And so the first kind of quarter of the season, I was getting used to playing football again, and that took a while. And then you hit a stretch midway through the season, at least for me, where your body kind of goes numb to all the soreness and stuff like that. And then towards the end of the season, the shoulders, the knees, the ankles start hurting again and stuff. But relatively, I made it out pretty good. The training staff did a good job of just treating anything before it got too major. And, I was really happy that I could play every snap. And, unfortunately, we didn't win enough games, but just be part of it and play football again.
You said he might add an offensive coordinator in the offseason, and he even left the door open to that guy calling plays. Would you like that? I mean, what did you think of Hughes' system, him as a play caller, him kind of leading all those meetings?
Yeah, I think Hughes done a good job. I think we've been in tough situations this year. And if he wants to bring in another guy to kind of help him out on game day or help him out during the week, as a head coach, I know you have a lot of responsibilities kind of running a team. So another guy in here to give him a different perspective and kind of help get through some of those moments, or in a game have someone in his ear that's like, hey, we should do this or that. I think it could be beneficial. And if Hugh's open for it, I'm part of the team. So, we'll see which way we go. And I know it's a long off season, so we'll see what happens in that front.
Would it work well? I mean, can he bring in an offensive coordinator and keep the same offensive system that's in place? How would that work?
I'm not sure. I know he's worked with a lot of guys in the NFL before, so if he brings in someone that he knows, that they know their system, it can be. And there's always tweaking going on. I think in the NFL, a lot of the plays are very similar. The way they're ran maybe is a little different. The way they're called might be a little bit different. But I think you can merge something together and keep a pretty similar system.
Hey, Joe, you've obviously been through some tough seasons here in your time. But how do you bounce back from this?
I think it's one of those things where there's a tomorrow. Unfortunately, we weren't good enough this year, and our record shows that. But the 2018 season will be here before we know it, and we have to go out there and play football again. And we put a new GM in place, and he's going to make moves to try and make our team better. But on a personal note, you think about what you can do to get better, and you come back out here, and what can I do to help this team? How can I change this team so maybe I'm worth one or two more wins next year for this team? And that's kind of my perspective, and I think we have a lot of guys that are thinking that way. And it's been tough, but I know my goal is one day, next year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, when we get rookies coming in and we're winning games, they're going to appreciate what we did this year and what we've done the last couple of years, what we fought through to make this a winning franchise.
Joel, a lot of fans, I think, pin their hopes on all the draft picks coming. Do you guys even think about that stuff at all?
I mean, you've heard about 4 draft picks in the top 35 and 5 in the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds, or I don't know what it is, but you hear all this stuff about you got these guys, and as of right now, this is what we have on our team. So that's kind of what you're worried about, and you don't want to be like, when we come to OTAs, this is what we're going to have. You don't get the draft picks till probably 4 or 5 weeks into the offseason program, and so right now this is what we have to work with, and I know Dorsey has a bunch of money to spend and, a bunch of draft picks. And so the team's going to be different. You just don't know which way they're going to go. And usually they keep that between themselves and, the people upstairs that make those decisions. So whatever they bring in, I know is going to be guys to help this team win. And that's all you can really ask for.
Do you pay attention to the draft, though, or do you just kind of...
Yeah, I'll watch it for sure. at least the first couple rounds I'll watch pretty in depth just to see what's happening in the league. You know, even if you watch and see who since he's drafted, that's a guy you're going to play against twice a year. You know, things of that nature. And then if I have anybody that I've known or my agents worked with that I want to look at, you know, I'll try and pay attention in the later rounds as well.
Do you expect number 73 to be on your left side again?
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about any of that. You know, I know he wants to talk to his family, but he's one of the best to ever do it. And I really love him as a person and as a player. And, you know, I appreciate all he's done for me. And, you know, if he's back out there, I'm ready to go. Let's do it. Even if he doesn't practice every day.
You talked about feeling the need to kind of re-recruit fans and even maybe around the league draft picks or free agents coming off 0-16. How do you do that? How do you convince people that it's not as bad as maybe it looks?
You know, I think they have every right to be upset. You know, as a fan base, when you win one game in 2 years, they have every right to be disappointed, and all we can ask is for them to give us a chance. And they're allowed to be angry. You know, they can be upset all off season, and that's what, you know, fans are allowed to do until we prove them otherwise. And we can talk about it, we can do about it, but until we start going out there and winning on Sundays, you know, they have every right to be upset. I just hope they give us a chance, you know, next season to show them, because when we start winning, it's going to be really sweet.
Joel, when you talk about your family texting you after games, trying to encourage you and stuff, and you're just not having it, is it going to take a while to get over this season, or are you ready to just move on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to move on and turn the page, you know. Yeah. But like I said, like all offseason, you're trying to look at things that happened this season where you can improve, you know. So there's always a spot where you're going to think about it, and I'm sure we're going to be, until we win a game, we're going to be talking about the 0-16, you know, from every angle. So it's definitely going to be there, but I think it's something we use to burn our desire to be better instead of something that you look back on and dwell on.
Would you like to see a bunch of veterans added? You know, I mean, it's the youngest team in the league, and it feels like that would be a way to make a quick jump.
I think a good mix. You know, I think in the NFL you don't want to overpay for too many guys, because then your roster becomes top heavy and it's hard to keep developing. You know, I think it's a good mix between drafting the right guys, building through the draft, but having enough key guys in rooms where they can groom those young guys, you know. So if you have one or two guys, and that could be an older guy that's been here, you know what I mean? Like the O-line has a bunch of older guys, so if you keep drafting guys, you can kind of develop that, you know what I mean? Just things of that nature where you can grow from both. But I think with the amount of money we have to spend, I think there's a way to do it where you're not too overly loaded up top and you're still growing through the draft.
Do you think it's an overstatement or pretty much right on to say that just how young this team is, that was a major factor here?
I think it's part of it. You know, I think learning how to win in the NFL takes some time, and I think there are certain games where if we were a year or two more experienced, you know, we might have pulled one out here or there. I don't know if it's a difference between 10-6 and 0-16, you know what I mean? But I think with age, you know, we're going to keep growing as a team, and you know, you keep bringing in some guys to the draft and through free agency, and I think eventually you'll see it start to come together.
I mean, you're considered kind of one of the older guys, you know, that's
Yeah, exactly.